Hey, what's up, Masters? Welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery podcast. And today we are with Chrissy Grigoropoulos. Is that my
Thank you
close?
so much. You did good.
Is it?
Grigoropoulos, Snuffleupagus, same idea.
All right. It's good. I did good. I got close.
For sure.
All right. Good. All right. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Kind of a neighbor out in Long Island, right? Is that what
Exactly.
Yeah.
Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Long Island, all that.
Not too far. I was out there about a week and a half ago. I went out there to an event in Manhattan. It was pretty fun, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. Why is everybody hating on New York these days, by the way? Like, what's the
It's just
deal?
always drama. It's always something over here. They got to look and criticize somewhere. So New York's the easiest. We have all the wonders of the world in one place.
Yeah, I was pretty enjoyable. I was up there for like 3 days, and I'm like, this is not bad at all. It was pretty good hanging out in Manhattan. So,
I mean, other than the lobster rolls, I think you guys take the cake, but our food here is pretty good. We have such a variety.
yeah, amen. You guys have the best, definitely the best bagels and pizza and all that good stuff. So that's for sure.
Two of my favorites.
All right. Well, today we're gonna talk about a few things. You have you're an attorney. You also do property investing.
Real estate, exactly. I'm a corporate broker, so we list properties, sell them, rent them, as well as I do fix and flips myself. So a little bit of everything with the real estate world.
And it's funny you say corporate broker. I'm actually I'm in the process of getting my corporate broker's license right now in Massachusetts. What is the difference, though, for our audience? Why do you need a corporate license?
You're working under a corporation. You don't have to put your name on it. So my corporation, it's called Property Shark Realty. So basically, my agents will work under me. I could have other brokers also working with me. It just gives you a little bit more of a title than just regular real estate broker. Not that there's anything regular about being a real estate broker, but you know.
Also, liability purposes,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Of course.
All right, good stuff. And you also are writing your book. Is that your first book coming out soon?
Yep.
Lady Shark?
First book, Lady Shark, How to Become a Millionaire in Your 30s. It'll be out June 11th.
I love it. And Lady Shark. Where'd you come up with? How did you come up with Lady Shark? What's Lady Shark all about?
It's been a nickname for years. I actually had someone that I worked with right before college, and he would just call me a lady. He's like, "You are such a lady shark." I worked at that time at a tinting company, and I would assign different jobs to different dealerships for the guys that worked at different places. And he was just like, "You're on it. You're just a shark. I'm just gonna call you Lady Shark," and it stuck from there. So.
Well, cool. Sharks are no joke. I don't mess around with sharks, so
we try not to swim with them too much.
No, definitely not. All right, so we'll go in a few different directions. Definitely, I'm a 22 years now real estate guy. What's interesting, ironically, is I left real estate in 2000. Well, technically in 2017 to run some Keller Williams offices, and did that for a couple of years.
Nice.
That was fun, I guess. Financially, I went backwards pretty bad, but other than that, it was a good experience.
The market's up and down, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but in the leadership side, but anyway, I learned a lot and it was good. And now I'm coming back. I'm kind of excited about the changes in the industry. What are your thoughts with all this stuff going on with the NAR settlement and all that? I mean, I wasn't really planning on talking about that, but since
there's so much going on. I mean, I try not to comment too much because it's so radical with the changes that are going on. I mean, everyone's still so focused on the interest rates and, how they're going up, going down. Realistically speaking, I think that even if you're getting a short-term mortgage versus long-term, I mean, I think that it really hurts first-time buyers. I think the first-time buyer market is very difficult to jump on that. It's hard to find a good investment unless you have some type of a connection. Here in New York, I look at, foreclosure lists and things of that nature, but usually first-time buyers, they're not as advanced to be really looking in that realm. So it makes the market harder for initial homeowners.
Well, it's going to be tough for buyers now that, want representation. They're either going to have to pony up them, right? No, I mean, it's not all, they're not basically it's not saying that realtors can't offer compensation. I don't know I'm not sure how much you're following that, but if it's not saying they can't offer compensation, they're saying they can't offer it on the MLS. So,
Right.
and I'm experiencing it right now where sellers are saying, hey, I don't want to pay another agent. You
Mm.
guys can figure it out.
Right. That it's 1% and you're splitting the commission. New York is that way. So if it's 2%, you split it. If it's a lot of times the average is about 4%. So if there's one real estate broker involved, you have 4%, and great. You have an exclusive listing you're able to get rid of by yourself. Wonderful. If not, then you got to split 2 and 2. No one likes to split anything, and I've seen agents choose not to show the listings to other agents and other brokerages for that specific reason. So it is difficult, and you have to really advise your client. That's I basically tell them, I know that you want to pay less for commission, but if you really want to move it, what's one more point on it?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. All right. So I want to talk about salary versus skills mindset. That's something that you're going to be talking about in your book. What do you mean by that? What's salary versus skills
Sure.
mindset?
So, of course, it's a great question. When in my book, I talk about a lot of people that are stuck in the same 9 to 5 and they're just living paycheck to paycheck, and they want to think outside of the box and get that increase in their salary and get on the road to financial freedom. So you really have to put in your mind, where can your skills really take you to that next level. So it could be a stay at home. It could be someone with a regular 9 to 5. It could be any of the above, but think of what you're good at. If you're good at organizing, if you're good at event planning, if you're good at, making charcuterie boards now is huge. If you're good at, ballooning for children's or even adult events, there's so many different things that you can use with skills, and you can do it in your extra time, either on the weekends, at night. And I have a peer of mine. She's a teacher, and she basically does. There's a printer called a Cricut, and she used to just do it for her kids, and now she's like selling these water bottles with personalization. And you're really using your skills to take yourself to the next level and get out of that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. So the book talks a lot about how you can think outside the box, either with skills in that respect or seeking out a financial opportunity, whether it's owner finance business opportunity or things of that nature.
So it sounds like there's 2 sides to that. One is kind of figuring out what you're good at, I guess, is passionate about as well. I don't know if that falls in there, and doing more of that, but also is there also a mindset behind that? Like I can,
Gotta be
like,
hungry.
entrepreneurial type of, like, how much does that play into it?
I think it plays into it fully. You have to be wholehearted with, it's easy to say, I want to make more money. I don't want to be in this 9 to 5. I don't want to be in this paycheck to paycheck, use all my money, and that's the end of it. But a lot of people think being your own boss is easy or it's glamorous, and it's definitely not that, especially in the beginning. In my book, I describe new businesses as babies, and they're needy and needy and needy because they're not self-sufficient. They can't feed themselves. They can't nurture themselves. So you are really giving your all. And being an entrepreneur, it is a lifestyle. That's really what it comes down to. Even if you're a part-time entrepreneur, your brain is full-time thinking of how to progress and how to take the next steps in order to gain financial freedom.
So I'm going to back up, because what caused you to write this book? Like, what's your intention or purpose of writing the book?
So I'm usually the go-to for advice, and I'm 35 years old. I have 3 law offices, the brokerage, and other, side hustles, as I call them. So everyone always asks me, how do you do it? I have 2 children at home. I have a 2.5-year-old and almost 1-year-old. So the juggling is definitely real. I call myself a glorified gypsy or a part of the circus, but I really wanted to empower other women, other people that feel like they're stuck in the 9 to 5. I say lady shark. It doesn't have to be a lady. A lot of my good friends are men. I've helped people get through, that stagnant stage in their lives to become entrepreneurs or to get your real estate license and really find a place that there is no ceiling. I think that the hardest thing is when you're stuck in the groove and you have the same 9 to 5 and you have a ceiling and there's no progress, there's no growth opportunity or potential.
And how does somebody, Chrissy, know that do people even know they're stuck, or is there a feeling like how would someone say, wow, I'm there can be more, right?
Sure, that's a great question. A lot of times they come to me for real estate stuff because I do fix and flip houses, and I do that as it became a hobby. Obviously, it's something that creates and generates income as well. But they're always asking me, "How do I find a house? How help me find a house that I can afford?" And then we get down to what does afford mean for on a case by case basis, and we really start with credit. Where's your credit at? Forget about what you can afford, but what does your credit say you can afford? What does your paycheck say you can afford? And how do we get everything to, basically be those pawns and get your chessboard set up so you can win? And a lot of times people have no idea what their finances are. I talk about financial literacy a lot in my book. And you have to take baby steps to it. Some people have no idea their realm of credit. They don't have
Mm.
no idea how much their bills in reality are factually on a month to month basis. They just wing it and hope for the best, and that really doesn't help you when you're trying to build that foundation, have a secure home life for your family as well as for yourself.
And so, like, what do you think keeps people kind of in that place, like stuck? Is it are you seeing something like a commonality, or why?
Sure, of course, fear. I think definitely fear is it. Fearing you're going to fail, fearing that you have stability, even if it's a fake sense of stability, because you do have your 9 to 5, even your paycheck to paycheck. It's most likely the people that talk to me, their paycheck to paycheck isn't enough. They see people wanting to get, you see social media nowadays, the bags, the shoes, the cars, the clothes, just everything is just this facade of what is
Mm.
success, what is happiness. And that's not what makes you happy. What makes everyone happy is on, like I said, on a case to case basis. Some people want to live in a very small home, but at least it's theirs. They're not paying someone else's mortgage by, dumping it into this money pit called rent without something to show for. Sometimes it works for people, but other times this sense of stability in their 9 to 5, if they've had the same job for 10 years, they don't want to try something new because of that stress. The definition of stress is change, but also the definition of growth is more times than not, it requires change.
So I'm with you on that. I mean, fear, uncertainty, unknown. There's also a comfortability. I've been doing something for so long. What do you say to those people that are like, man, maybe they think they're too old, or they just been doing it for so long, or
Exactly,
right, or like,
exactly. Well, that's
what
where the
what if?
skills mindset comes. That's how I try to tell them, listen, I get what you're saying, and maybe you won't jump ship. I always tell everyone, send your resume out, get some feelers. Why don't you hear what's out there? If you don't try, you'll never get. One of my favorite quotes is "No asking, no getty." But in reality, sometimes the fear of the instability or the unknown will prompt them to not have that change. So when you're doing this, as I call side hustle or this baby business, you can build up that money on the side, so you have this cushion, so then you feel more comfortable making that change just in case it blows up in your face or something quote unquote bad happens. And then once you see that, what, this skills mindset and this hobby that is trying to be a new business, it comes to be fruitful, then you can make moves more freely and not have that fear. So then we have a trust that once they see things happening the way I tell them it will happen, you try to seeing things from a different light.
Yeah, that makes sense. No asking, no getty. That's a new
For
one.
sure.
I've not heard that one yet. So let's tell people. So for our listeners, like if somebody's like, hey, you know what, I kind of like this. I think I'd like to do, get to that next level, or maybe get out of my complacent comfortability, whatever it is. Where do they start? Like, well, let's give them three things. Here's
Let's do
our
it.
no asking, no getty checklist.
Well, get your pen and paper and start writing down all your bills. That's definitely first. Open the mail that's
Number
probably
one,
sitting
write
in a
down
pile
all bills.
somewhere, and make your list. Make it even on a yellow pad, on a piece of
So when you say
paper.
write down all bills, though, what do you mean by that? Like, what is that? Does
Open
that
all
mean?
see what your requirements, your financial requirements are a month. We're not babies. We don't just have our gas. Usually you'll have car payment, rent, credit card, cell phone,
Got it.
insurance. All that adds up very quickly. You have to have your due dates. Get to Credit Karma, see what your credit's on, And that obviously gives you the financial literacy to see what are we dealing with. Okay, so now let's say your expenses are 3,000 a month. Now let's compare that to your paycheck. Are you in sales? Do you have a steady paycheck that's the same, or does it fluctuate? And you really want to know your baseline. I think for the financial literacy and really the acknowledgement of what you're already committed to without thinking you have any commitments is the first step.
So first step, figure out where you are financially. Like, I know I need 6,000 a month to survive, right?
Exactly.
Then look at, after that, what you're looking at, what your income is, like how's
For
my,
sure. How does it balance out? Let's do checks and balances. Let's put in your income, and does it fluctuate? Do you have sales as well? Do you have investments that you're getting dividends on? Do you have a CD that's accruing interest? If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay too. We'll get there. But in the least, when you're figuring out what you have coming in and what you have that's required to go out, that's how you're stabilizing the first part of your life and knowing about yourself. So before you can think of growing and how much you can grow and how quickly and how the hell you're going to do it, you have to figure out where you're at status quo.
so you need a starting point is the
Exactly.
first step. Figure out, okay, here's where I'm at. All right, good. And then credit score. You mentioned credit score. Why do they need to get their credit score?
Because if you're looking to start a new business, if you have a business plan, you can go to a bank and try to get some money. But of course, they're going to take a look at your credit. If you're at a 300 or 400 or even 500, the probability of you getting some money from a bank is slim to none. So before you start asking, we got to fix that. And how do you fix that? You start negotiating what you have outstanding. Hopefully there's nothing in default. Some people have no idea what's even on them as delinquencies or anything of that nature. They just don't know that I just have bad credit. Well, why? I don't know. Well, we got to figure it out. We can't fix it unless we see what the problem is. And they're like, oh, well, I thought I paid that 10 years ago and it was never paid. And it's still on their credit, not allowing it to rise, even though they may pay their bills on time now.
Okay, cool. So the first step, figure out where you're at, not just financially, but with your credit, with your score, right? Then what? Are you suggesting real estate or what?
I'm suggesting you have to know yourself. So everyone's different. Obviously, you have a real estate background, so I'm sure you can do it with your eyes closed with the amount of years that you're in it. But maybe when you first started dabbling in it, you're like, where am I going to find these people? Who am I going to rent to? Who am I going to sell to? Who am I grabbing listings from? But you and I can probably say, well, that's exactly it. Go through your text, go through your phone and see who needs what. Get on your social media and say, hey, you want to buy something, sell something, rent something, get something rented, call me. And, I think social media now makes it a lot easier. I always talk about networking events. I speak about it in my book. I myself was I call it a lone ranger when I would go to networking events, and all my businesses are male dominated. So sometimes it's uncomfortable, but you have to get out there. And some people are introverts. And you got to put yourself out there, and whether it's real estate, it could be anything. There's networking events for everything that you can think of, but you have to research. You have to figure out, what are you good at? For me, just in my experience now, post kids, post marriage, and all that fun stuff, I've had, I had all my events all at once. Bridal shower, wedding, baby shower, all that was like within like a year or two. So I became this pro planner just by accident, really. So when my friends and family members have events, I get the call right away. So I should put that on my resume too. But you'd be surprised what you're good at. If you have the most organized house, my house isn't the most organized, but I try and I ask for help and I hire help. And you never know what your free mindset, and if you're just an organized person, you can provide that skill to people. And you don't even know how much money you can make doing it. You make up your own hourly rate, what you find is worth it, add your gas money, and poof, you got a new business you didn't even realize you can have, because you're not thinking hard enough on what are you good at, how can you capitalize on it, and who can you help and how.
Super helpful. And obviously I want everybody to get your book. So we're not going to do the whole book right now, right? But we're going to give them some tips.
For sure.
You also mentioned resume a couple times, though. Sounds like everybody should go out there and put together a resume too, right?
I mean, I obviously I'm an attorney. I have my own business. When it comes to law and car accidents, work accidents, the people that I hire, they have to have their resume. My people don't have a ceiling because I do provide bonuses and sales, incentives. But if you're looking to start your own business, you don't need a resume. You don't need to have that, I guess, paper trail per se. It's nice because it helps you learn about yourself when you do your resume. You look online, look at other resumes, maybe hire someone for, something nominal just to help you out with it, or look at your corporate friends. I'm sure you have someone that can help you put it together just in case you wanted to get out of your 9 to 5 into another, salary-based position. The resume definitely is a requirement for something of that nature. But if you want to do real estate, if you want to have your own business, no one cares about your resume. No one cares about where you went to school. I'm an attorney and I didn't go to the best school in the country, but I've never not landed a job on a job interview. I've never had that problem in my life.
Yeah. So I want to go from, there's another question that I had on the, it was about going from self-doubt to self-empowerment, critical mindset shift. So talk to us about that. How does somebody go from doubt? Like somebody right now might be thinking, hey man, I'd like to do that, but I don't know. I don't think I can do that. Like that seems like a lot.
Of
What
course,
if I
that's such a good
fail?
question.
How does somebody take that leap now? Like let's get them to that next level.
So I laugh when I answer this question because part of it is you got to fake it till you make it, even though you still want to be authentic with yourself, but you have to believe in yourself. Even if you're insecure, if you don't believe in yourself, why is someone going to believe in you?
Yeah,
And more importantly, why not you? That's one of my other very important quotes that I talk about in my book. Why not you? What makes the next person special? I remember studying for the bar exam where everyone's like, oh my God, New York is the worst. You're never going to pass on your first time. So don't get discouraged. And I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
I see some lawyers that I don't even know how they got through law school, let alone how they became an attorney. And I'm like, well, if they did it, I can do it. So it's the same thing. If you're doubting yourself, think about, I think about the YouTubers. They're making millions. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but maybe one day, because why can't I do it? These, toddlers sometimes can do it. So why not us? And that goes for any aspect of a potential business plan or new step that you're doing. Why not you? You have to be confident in yourself, even if it doesn't feel so good because it's something new. It's not going to feel like, oh, hey, I'm the best at this because it's new, but you gotta push yourself and you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to get that financial freedom that everyone looks for.
I think it's such an important point, Chrissy, is, I think a lot of people don't realize that the confidence that they actually show up with, it like other people like feed off it, right? Like if you show up in front of me and you're lacking confidence, all of a sudden I start to lack confidence in you, right?
Yep.
Isn't that so true?
Exactly.
And I think all industry, salespeople and real estate agents, yeah, everybody. So how do people get a copy of your book? What's the best way to do that? I know it's not till
So if you go
June,
to
but
theladyshark.com, that's basically where we're taking pre-orders. You can enter your information. I'm on Instagram, Chrissy G Official. I am always open to answering any questions and helping people. I've always, leaned on other people for advice. So I always try to be as open and available as possible, even if it's, seems like a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly question. I love to answer and help and give back. So, I feel like you give good, you get good. So that's how it'll be found. Where it's going to be selling. The book will be selling on Amazon and basically a local bookstore near you.
And how does somebody else become a lady shark?
Just be hungry, stay hungry, and complacency is death.
It's complacency's what?
Death.
Death.
Yes.
Yeah. Sharks have to keep moving, right? They can't stop. I think at least I heard that. I don't know if that's a myth or not.
That's what they say. I mean,
yeah, it's like they got to keep going, keep moving. All right. What didn't I ask you that I should have asked you? What did I miss here?
Oh man, I don't know. Who knows? Is there going to be more books? If I can help anyone, I'd love to. Hopefully there'll be more books. If anyone's ever in New York and unfortunately in a car accident, I can help them get money. Maybe they can use that to make a new business. You never know.
Man, you're doing that too, huh? Yeah, you're no joke. All right, amen. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, Chrissy, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Instagram's great, Chrissy G Official, theladyshark.com. If you put in your email address, the book will be sent out, and the pre-orders are beginning there. I'm pretty much available. Chrissy Grigor at Gmail is another way, but Here I am. It's very easy to get to me. If you Google my name, you'll find me, and a million different ways how to find me.
What's your favorite? You got a lot of things going on right now. I'm just curious. What's your favorite? Is it the law? Is it the real estate? Like, what do you enjoy doing the most?
I have to say it has to be the law. The margins are just ridiculous. It's almost like winning the lottery, based on how hard you work. You can get I just settled the case for $1.7 million. I had it less than a year. A nice third of that helps,
Oh,
grow the other businesses. But I love being a mama too. I can't lie. That's definitely one of my favorite titles. I have to, fall back on that. I can't say that that's not the most rewarding. It really is. Money's
amen.
great, but without family, you still have that void.
Good for you. Well, hey, it was fun to meet you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so
Congrats
much for having me.
on your success. And yeah, I want our people definitely to check out your book and go follow you. Final thoughts for people like that listen to this. What's the one thing you want to say to them to
You can
leave?
always change. You're never stuck unless you're dead. There's no reason why you could feel defeated. You can always change your life. It means nothing for people to be discouraging. Don't listen to what the critics say. You're never going to get positive feedback from people that don't want you to do well. So if there's bad feedback, you got to go to the next person, and sometimes you got to tune everybody out.
There's a lot of haters out there, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, it's sad but true.
Do you have haters?
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
How do you deal with the haters? What do you do?
I prove everyone wrong. I finished high school when I was 16, college when I was 19. I'm 35, have 3 law offices, and people still, when I walk in the room, sometimes they're like, "Oh, well, when's the lawyer getting here? Who's this blonde?" They don't know what the hell they're
Oh,
talking
wow.
about. And listen, I got 4 lawyers, 5 lawyers that work for me, and a ton of staff in 3 different offices. And it doesn't matter what people think, because at the end of the day, they don't pay your bills and they mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, that's good to know. And I'm glad that's why I asked you that question. Cause at the end, years ago, somebody gave me some negative feedback on
Mm.
YouTube. I got all these negative comments about people making fun of me doing a podcast interview in
Oh, you're doing something right.
2016. And I let it stop me. Like they said, the host is trash.
Mhm.
Host talks over his guests, all these weird things. And I'm reading it like, oh my God. And it
Right, right, right.
literally stopped me for a while. And then I realized that the more successful we get, the
You'll
more you're
always
going to
have
get.
someone to say something, but you need it, right? Because if you were just getting all of this amazing feedback, it's like, oh, there's no competition. There's no one. I feel like you need that criticism to show that, you know what, that you're obviously bothering someone because you're doing the right thing, and you're doing something they can't do, because if they could do what you're doing, they wouldn't be criticizing you.
Yeah, amen. All right. Well, everybody, I want you to get a copy of Chrissy's book, Lady Shark, How to Become a Millionaire Before 30
Thank you. Or 40 or whenever.
or 50 or whenever you need to,
Exactly.
right? All right.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
All right. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too. Thanks.